The government didn't find them. They seized every single hot dog cart. The business had been run aggressively, no permits, no patience, and eventually the city shut it down. Most people would have walked away. Namoka didn't. While working nights at a hospital and raising twin daughters, she decided to rebuild it the right way. $10,000, new cart, all legal, no shortcuts. Today, that same hot dog business does $40,000 a month with peak months hitting $100,000. That is like mind-blowing to say out loud there. Same city, same product, but a completely different mindset. I'm Ryan Atkinson, and you're listening to the Outflip Podcast, where we uncover the secrets of building and running successful businesses. Today, we are joined by Namoka and Betty, and I am so excited to welcome on here, talk about starting a hot dog stand, which is so cool, and the success y'all have had. So Namoka, Betty, thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, you guys were great on the YouTube channel, so it is a pleasure to have you here on the podcast. But for someone that hadn't tuned into the YouTube channel, Namoka, tell us, what exactly is your business and what do you guys do a month in revenue?
So we run a mobile hot dog vending company. So we have about 5 carts that are actively working, and we kind of have locations all over the city. We kind of go where events are happening. So if they're not happening one place, we take another place, or we might do a wedding, or it just depends what's going on. And our revenue can run anywhere. The low end, I would say 20,000. I would say 20 to 40,000 a month, depending on the month and the season that it is.
So crazy. How long have you all been running this for? Just to give some additional context for a listener.
I would say like our re-official opening of it, probably about 10 years. Originally, maybe 15 if we add another 5 years where we were kind of roguing around the city.
I like it. Well, let's go back to that moment. So the moment the government seized the carts, kind of tell us, like, lead up to that story, like what exactly was happening? Like, what was that moment like for you?
Well, I think I was in school. So my husband at the time it was his idea. He pretty much created the vision, created the plan. I was in school, so he was doing all the running of the carts. I would have liked to have done more work to get the carts up and running, but it was so much red tape. You couldn't do 1 unless you did 3. And it was backwards like that. You couldn't do 3 unless you did 6, or 6 unless you did 1. And I think the government figured it out now, but it was kind of that thing. And, he didn't care. He was just like, it's hot dogs. I don't care. I'm just going to set up. I bought these carts with my money. We're going to go everywhere. And he just kept showing up, and they kept coming by and giving him tickets. They were ticketing at the time, which they no longer do, and saying, no, you can't be here. You can't be here. You can't be here. Restaurants would complain because he was within a vicinity of other food locations. So there were all kinds of things. And I wanted to, get it legit. And I was like, okay, let's get it legit. But I was actually, a lot of the money was taking me through school, so he was the breadwinner at the time. So all of a sudden, I don't know, they came along with a plan. And I think it was like in one night, they just started, we had about 2 or 3 carts out, and they came and they confiscated them. They literally had a truck, rolled them up on the back of the truck, our supplies, our generators, everything. And then, so we probably had one more left, I think, too. And on another day, we tried to do that too. And they came and they took that one as well.
Wow. What were you guys doing like in revenue up to that point? Like, how big of a business was it? And like, was that moment for you like, holy smokes, like the world is collapsing under my feet doing this?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was very lucrative back then, because first of all, it didn't have a loving touch. It was just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get money out of it. There wasn't any love put in it. There wasn't any marketing ideas. We've never marketed, but there was no marketing pattern. There was not a lot. Even at the time, it was called a Creole Cafe, which is weird for a hot dog stand, but because the original plan was to do Creole food, right? But you can't do fish and crawfish and all of that at a cart. So then we go to the hot dog, because we were connoisseurs in the nightlife, and was like, okay, let's do hot dogs. And we still kept it Creole Cafe. So there was nothing attached to the name. It was like, and we catered to mostly drunk people in the bars. We pulled up on bars. I would say we were making about, $5,000 a month, $5,000 or $6,000 a month.
I love the concept there. And I think listeners should know that about like who your guys' target audience was, about being like, the drunk people that will buy anything. Cause I think about like my college days, and like we had like a grilled cheese place. We had like a Greek like food truck, and like, it's so true. Like when it's 12 a.m. at night and you've had 10 drinks,
meat and bread or cheese,
anything will make you happy.
Absorb whatever, or make you think you're absorbing things, whatever.
So how did you land on like hot dogs then though? Like I know you just kind of described it a little bit, but like what specifically was it about hot dogs compared to like fish and everything? Was it just because it was simpler, or like what specifically about the hot dogs enticed you?
I think the first part is that we hung out a lot in the bar scene ourselves. We were club goers a while back. So I think we would always get these hot dogs and they were very popular. So the mission was kind of to do hot dogs, but then originally, and then it kind of changed. Well, let's try some other food because there are other hot dog vendors a little bit here and there in the nightlife. So then we were thinking to just try something else, which was very temporary. I think after the first big cooking, it cost us like $300 to make because they have a lot of fish and stuff in it. So it's very expensive. And it just didn't sell well. People drinking, they don't want to really walk around with bowls. And it just wasn't a seller. So I think pretty fast within the first couple of tries, we realized, go back to our original idea, worry about hot dogs. And then that's when we saw that it was very lucrative right away.
I want to talk about like what made you like really think like I'm going to rebuild this then? Was it just like, you got shut down, you got a bunch of carts taken, like what made you want to rebuild it then?
I think it was first the need for money, for income. I was in school taking care of my mother who was sick, kids, and I saw that it was doing good. And we didn't even put as much energy. Like I said, just bar nightlife stuff, like a couple days a week was bringing in $5,000 a month. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make a cart. And that's when I made a cart. I was like, if they take it, it doesn't matter. I didn't pay much for it. So I just made it. And then slowly I just started seeing things taken off and money being made. So once the money was made, I'm like, okay, I'm going to buy a cart. I want to buy a cart. And then I had Betty and I was like, okay, Betty, you got this cute, sweet face. You look very young. Cause at this time, the city was requiring you to pitch wherever you were going to be in front of. It didn't matter how close, what the distance was. You had to ask them to use their bathroom and permission to be in front. So we had to pay people like $1,000, $500. They tried to extort us like pretty much in a way. We want this much because they knew we needed them to be in front of their stores and stuff. So I said, Betty, why don't you go around and talk to people? You have the sweet face, the demeanor, because if another one of us go talk there, they were like thinking we were up to something. Like, what are they trying to do? When Betty went in, it just looked like this young college girl. She just wants to start this little cupcake business. They're not thinking like that. And so I found that people were way more receptive to her face, her energy, her sound. And then the husband was doing things at the time too than he got. He didn't get good reactions at all because I wasn't as interested, to be honest. It wasn't my thing. I was going to school. I was in nursing. This was my second degree. So I wasn't as interested. But once Betty got out there, and I seen the cart doing good. Betty was working. And then when she wasn't working the carts, she really bumped up the sales. And I saw it. And people loved her. People would say, where's the girl you had? She's so amazing. And I'm like, wow, okay. And I seen the numbers go up. The money was up even more than the 5,000. It went up to like 10,000. And then Betty was able to help me with the process. So now I had a partner, was my best friend I met in college. I'm a little older than her, but we met in college. I went back to school. She was just going to school when we met. And now I had this person who was down to do whatever with me. And I was like, you do 1, 2, 3, I'm going to do 4, 5, 6. And that partnership, I still wasn't all in, but the growth of it and to see, she's like, hey, I got a location. I got us 2 locations today. And I'm like, you did? Oh my God. And then, doing paperwork, she was good at it. She was good at dealing with the city. Everybody was wanting to help her. It was just crazy.
Are you ready to launch, grow, and scale a business? Inside the Upflip Academy, you'll get a complete roadmap to shortcut your success with 25 plus step-by-step programs taught by active business owners, not gurus, who share their step-by-step blueprints, plus ongoing live workshops, skills training, a business idea database, and community to share resources and celebrate your wins. Click the link in the description below to join the Upflip Academy today and start surrounding yourself with the people and tools that can change everything for your business.
Betty, I want to ask you, so how did this one come up for you? How did she approach you on this idea? And what was your first initial reaction to hey, help me out with this hot dog stand?
Well, to be honest, I literally filled in for my nephew one night and I made $300 or $400. And obviously the money was super enticing. So I was like, if I can do that in one night, what can happen in a week? Right. And so it kind of just fell in my lap, to be honest. I didn't ask to be a part of it. I just was I was kind of just running through dead end jobs. I was working at Starbucks. I was doing a program for medical assisting. I liked the people aspect, but I wasn't really getting the type of feedback that I get on the streets, working in the city. And it was just something that came upon me. And so I don't really know how it started. It just came and I was like, let me get out there and see what I can do. I was really once like a shyer person, but like getting out there and like really like hitting the pavement and just like really seeing what I can do with like the business, it really has helped me in so many ways. Like more than a textbook has ever helped me. And so I've seen like my growth through just like communicating with different officials and just getting like the like reciprocation that I get from the city. I was like, well, if I can do this, then, the sky's the limit at this point. So I just started doing it.
There you go. You started doing it. Now it's grown to like what it is today, doing, up to $100,000 on some of the peak months here. One thing that your team has said is that customer service is like your guys' number one differentiator. Give someone a quick master class on how to provide like great customer service that both look at each other.
Ryan, I didn't realize how important customer service is. Honestly, it's something that's just super genuine. Like I don't even try. It's just who I am as a person, but I would say be as genuine as possible. Like don't try and sugarcoat or fabricate something that you're not, and just really be out there and really just honestly put your best foot forward. Like not everybody's going to be a people person, and I've run into people that aren't, but you kind of have to just learn body language, just kind of like noticing the obvious. You know what I mean? Like, I've had customers come up to me and be like, oh, like kind of just like don't want to talk. So I'll be like, okay, like have a great day or whatever the case may be. And the next time they come around, they're like, oh, this girl's kind of the same person that I met last week, right? She hasn't changed. And so it's just very like being like true to yourself and honestly, just like having etiquette. You know what I mean? Like it's just basic things that unfortunately aren't really like basic anymore, I guess. But just honestly, just being true to yourself, honestly.
And I would say from the outside looking in at her and from what I'm receiving from customers, because it might be harder to see her what she is as much as people looking in at her can see. But I would just say, for one, if you pull up to our cart, she's able to help that customer and be like, hey, Jimmy, how are you doing? How's your wife doing? While making the food and preparing the food. And she's got another person that just pulled up in line. Hey, I'll be right with you in a minute. Just take a look at our menu and I'll get to you. But service hasn't stopped. If you're in a time limit, the time limit is still being met. The quality is still being met. And having someone work in the front line that genuinely enjoys people. She knows everybody's name. She greets everyone when they show up. No one's waiting, wondering if they've been seen, because we can have a line of 50, 60 people. If you're at the top front of that line, she's addressed you already. She will even call up to the end of the line. Guy, we're going to be moving it fast here. Hi, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. That kind of energy to people. Always, always. And recognizing people.
Yes.
If she doesn't quite remember their name, she'll usually be like Jimmy and he'll be like, no, it's John or, or Gabe, you know what I'm saying? And he might say it's another G name, or she might remember something about your life, that your wife was sick. How's her cold doing this week? I see people coming up, cancer's in remission. She's talking to them and I'm heartfelt by it. Like she's got tears in her eyes. She's hugging them. I'm glad, it's like, well, yeah, I had to have this thing put on my stomach, but I'm alive, and she's hugging them. She'll stop in the middle. But she also lets her other customer, hi guys, I haven't seen him in a while. He just healed from this. And people are like emotional to see her interactions. Even the dogs know her.
Even the dogs.
So, everybody's important at
Don't
these
be
dogs,
a cannibal today.
Right? I think one of the takeaways for listeners is like provide great customer service. And like there's a lot of ways to do that by recognizing, calling people by their name, like just being a warm, like caring person. A super important part of this business is locations. And locations seem to really be a large majority of like, maybe not large majority. It plays a factor into your success. Tell us about the story of Betty securing the Climate Pledge Arena permit, because obviously that's a big driver. So tell us about that story, and then we're going to dive into like more location stuff as well.
Okay. So I think originally it was my previous husband's idea to get climate. He said, you know what, the Sonics are going to come back. This is before it ever opened. He's like, I'm thinking next year the hockey team's going to be here. Let's book it before anybody gets in there. So we tried that, but they didn't want anybody on the sidewalk in front of the Climate Pledge. So there was a daycare across the street with a big sidewalk, like directly across, adjacent from just like one walk across the street. And so we set up over there, but people really, I don't know, it was something about people and walking across the street to get food. We did okay, but we weren't really doing well there. So I tell Betty, like, she just, I think the lady was starting to complain too. So I tell Betty, her daycare was there and the smell of food. And because we were opening like 3 or 4 going into the nightlife. And so I said, just set up across the street and just let's see what happens, what the flow is. I didn't know what was going to happen. I mean, I tried to get a permit. We paid for it. So I'm thinking maybe if we just move, we broke a little rule. So we had to bend a couple rules to start. And so then once she got over there, she actually met the owner of the Climate Pledge Arena. He stopped by.
Oh, wow.
And our cart, and there was no food out there. And I don't know if you've ever been in the Climate Pledge Arena or familiar with it, but it's very little food inside. And the food that is inside is kind of like kiosk food. You wave your card, you grab your pizza. That's it. There's no interaction. There's no melting anything. So he told Betty, I love you being here. This is fine for me.
Now, he welcomed me.
He welcomed her to the block. So when the city reached back, city came by to do their rounds around the city, see who's where they shouldn't be, and they'll scold you. You can talk to them about it. And then we had to let them know about the complaint across the street and that also that the owner had welcomed her. So they all reached out, did a team meeting with the Climate Pledge Arena, with the city officials, not with Betty there. We weren't there. They just sent us the response. And it was like a long page of, you're amazing. You keep your permits in the city. You communicate with us. You keep your area clean. You're a good neighbor. And we've decided we would love to have you there. And she opened up permits not only for her, now one of our, I don't want to say our competitors.
Yeah,
okay. One of our competitors, he has a cart on the other corner, which there's plenty of money. I mean, like we never got it all, but yeah. So once she opened that up, she kind of opened up the permit process where anybody can probably get permitted
that's so
over
cool.
there now.
So the mobile is like intriguing because like obviously you can like kind of pick it up and go wherever. What are like, if someone's just wanting to get started with like a hot dog business, like what are some of the hot spots that they should be checking out location wise?
I would say the first thing that you're going to want to check, because this is what I ran into people, and I'll just give you a quick spiel and then go into that. Because people in different cities, right? So different cities have different rules. I don't believe Portland, Oregon, you can be on the street. They have these parking lots. So I wouldn't waste your time looking for a location until you know where you can be.
Yeah, your logistics of your city.
Yeah. Find out what your permitting thing is first. Secondly, when you're looking for a location, though, if you can't get on the street in your city, find a parking lot. Parking lots have nothing to do with the city or anybody. You can pay somebody, even like where they park cars at. Third, always look for the more traffic, the better. The more foot traffic, the more better. But it also matters of who. People of a certain age, I'm going to say, and I hate to say this because it may not be written in stone. So it matters of your crowd. But the hot dog crowd, I'm going to say, predominantly is under 50 years old for the hot dog crowd. And depends the type of person. Because we get concerts that are sold out and we might sell 50 hot dogs. So we have to be honest about that. We could have a concert that got 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 people.
Yeah.
And we sell 50 hot dogs.
Yeah.
You're going to the Paramount tonight. Who is performing if you do know, but like how are you guys expecting this turnout to be? And like what are you guys kind of expecting?
I am totally banking on not even the Paramount goers. I'm banking on just the location itself and the neighbors that I serve to.
That she's already established. Because we're by like several hotels. So that's kind of like our main location. So we can get both. But the guy tonight is like, he's like a
different. He's like a
influencer, a foodie influencer type.
Yeah. He like makes different meals on stage and asks like chemistry questions to
that's kind of
his
fun.
audience, and it correlates with like food as well as like math, and I don't know, just a little different. And I don't know what his crowd will be like, honestly. He has quite a bit of tickets left as far as like to be sold to go to his show. But I mean, if he's at the Paramount, he must be someone.
Yeah. So what would be a concert or a venue or an event that you guys like, we are absolutely going to make?
So anything comedy, because we look for drinkers. So comedy, club people, Opeth,
rock
which
concerts.
Was like the other night I did the concert for Opeth. They're like a metal rock show or whatever. So things like that. So like rock concerts, any type of like hip hop concert, comedy, those type of things are definitely hitters.
But I would say the younger events. So if you got somebody under 18, like by themselves, not with their parents, family events do okay. They do pretty well. Underage events, where it's just teenagers going to, they're not hot dog eaters. I don't know if they're shy. They don't want to eat in front of their friends. I'm sure they eat them, but so you have a little bit of a different crowd. Now the Comic-Coners, the gamers love our hot dogs.
On point.
Love our hot dog. I mean, love when I tell you there.
Eat, sleep, game, hot dog.
That's so funny.
Yeah, we do several gaming conventions, PAX, Comic-Con, SakuraCon, anime conventions, and we probably sell upwards of 10, 20,000 hot dogs that weekend.
Wow, that's insane.
And they buy 3 or 4 during their stay, 5, 6.
How do you guys do you like try to avoid oversaturated areas? Because like when I'm thinking about like after like a concert, like or after like a baseball game or football game, whatever, there's like some different food like vendors on the streets, like mobile. Do you guys like try to avoid if it's too competitive in an area, or like what's their breakdown? You're just like screw it, like or people love our hot dogs, we're gonna go there.
One thing to point is that like we are a mobile food unit, but it's not like you can just go and set up anywhere you want. You have to have, your permits for that actual location. So now there are other vendors that do come up and try and saturate the location
Without permits.
They
don't have permits. Yeah.
So in general, we've decided to go to locations where we build up that actual location. And no, people will come to that location knowing that we'll be there. So we do, I would say, kind of stay away from the saturated area because we want to build our own entity.
It's best. Yeah. Like, so if somebody new, like I know you're hinting on people who want to do this. If you're new and you're trying to get a permit, go to the food desert where a lot of people are going to be at. And a food desert doesn't mean it doesn't have to be any kind of food.
Right.
It could also be not your type of food, because I'm not in competition with pizza and I'm not in competition with burgers.
Right.
I'm really not. That's giving people another food choice. Right. So you're going to want to find places that are busy, more food deserts. The more restaurants and stuff around and things around, the less likely you're going to be busy.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people reached out to us who had trailers too. Most cities, trailers are like a lottery system. Trucks and trailers are huge. They're lottery systems of where they can park. You're better off to see if your city allows you to have a small mobile hot dog cart and what they want on them. There are a lot of people who will build them to cater to your city's rules.
What is the realistic, like, I don't want to say startup cost, but like how much like can you build a cart for realistically? Or would you recommend buying one too?
I would recommend going online. If you're a handyman, you can always add simple things like refrigerators, sinks. Nowadays, you can go online. They have all kinds of TaskRabbit, Angie's List, everything where you can find people to add things on for you. If I was trying to go about it cheap, if you have the money to buy, you get it brand new, you get it the way you want, you can get it built to your city's ordinance. If you're just like, hey, I'm just starting out, I don't want to work for anybody, I got a little small savings, look online and buy yourself a used cart. They have them.
They do.
Because people give up. And it's not a reason. Like, it's like you start off rapping and then you decide I don't want to rap anymore. Or you like me, I've been writing a book for about 10 years. You just decide one day I'm not going to write it this year, right? Like, and people, they have it sitting in the garage and their wife's like, sell that thing. It's sitting in here. I need the room, And so believe it or not, people sell them, even if you have to go pick them up in another city. People will sell the ones from your city. Like, and look in the winter, because nobody wants to work we work in the winter. We make money in the winter, but people have that mindset. I'm going to do it next summer. So if you start during the down seasons, like the winter times, you'll find so many carts online.
What are like the common reasons people quit? Is it just like, it's, I'm assuming this isn't like, you're serving food, you're talking with people, you're standing, like this isn't like super like white collar where I'm sitting in air conditioning all day. You're out there like grinding. It's the biggest reason is just like, it's so hard and such a grind, or like, what are some of the big reasons people give up?
I don't think people get to the hard.
Yeah.
They don't know the hard. They don't even get that far. I bought a cart for $1,200. Well, he wanted $2,000. I negotiated him to $1,200. And I'm just doing events with it because it doesn't have everything on it. So that's another thing. You can do events.
Oh,
Put it on Yelp, put your promotion. You can sell whatever you want. It's not even regulated by public health.
True.
Not really. It's not, because it's private events.
Yeah.
I'm choosing to have you privately. It's my own risk, my own whatever. So yeah, you could do that. But yeah, I think people don't even get to the hard. I think people are overwhelmed by the process. The process is overwhelming.
It is.
Because you don't need one thing. You need a fire permit. In my city, you need a public health permit. That's to say that you have the things to wash your hands and keep the food at temperature, refrigerator. You need a city permit, which tells you which location you could be. We have about 6 or 7 city permits. And we pay, usually when their fees are in line, you're going to pay about a couple thousand for each of those permit annually. But you can start with one, get a main spot, build up like we did. We did that. So I think the process is over. If you see it like that, the process is overwhelming. But you can work your job and go get your business license. Work your job, buy your $200 annual insurance. Work your job, find your location. Work your job, do a step-by-step page and checklist. And don't say, I'm going to start tomorrow. This is my goal. This is my dream. It's like building a movie, building a podcast, building anything that you build, right? It's a step. It sounds hard, but if you really want to do this, it's feasible. And I'm not talking 6 months. I'm talking you could do a step-by-step in a month and do everything if you gave a day a week to it.
You guys ready to dive into our Fan Blitz questions here?
Yes.
Awesome. So these are questions submitted from our community listeners. If you want to join on world-class entrepreneurs, email us at ryan@upflip.com. We'll make sure to get your questions plugged into the podcast. But here we go. Number 1, what's the most you've ever made in a single night?
I would say 10,000.
Wow, that's a good night. How much does one hot dog actually cost you to make?
I'm going to say about $1.50.
What's the biggest mistake new food cart owners make?
I would say location was our biggest mistake. Going somewhere that's not going to make any money and getting permitted there and having to find somewhere else to go.
If you had to start over with just $5,000, what would you do first?
Events.
Absolutely.
I'd make the revenue to get everything I need because it's pretty pricey. So I would use that money, get me a cart, take a little bit cash and put it on my promotions on Yelp page or Google, and people call you for events and they make big money.
They do.
That's good. What's one thing you'll never compromise on in this business?
Well, one thing would be quality of food, but customer service.
Absolutely.
How we treat our people and who will serve our people. If sometimes I don't work a gig because I don't have the right person to work.
Yeah, fair enough. That is a wrap on our Fan Blitz questions. I want to thank you both so much for being here. Just one more time, if someone's like, I need to learn more from you, where can they connect with you at?
Bees Dog Seattle, one word, TikTok or Instagram. You can message us there.
Listeners, that was a great episode. 3 quick takeaways for you. Number 1, provide great service. Betty gave us a quick masterclass on how to provide great service. They talked about remember people's names, being friendly, being warm. Simple stuff adds up. Number 2, know your audience. And that means you need to be understanding who exactly buys these hot dogs. What does that demographic look like? And you need to be able to line up and meet that demographic where they are. Then number 4, look for a food desert. It doesn't have to be food that you like, but find an area where food is not offered that could serve that market. Really good episode, everyone. If you guys are enjoying this podcast, please give us a 5-star rating wherever you get your podcasts. It helps us get more amazing entrepreneurs like them onto the show. With that, we will see you next Monday. Thank you both so much for being here and walking us through location, startup, and everything else. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Ryan.
Thank you.